guilty. Credit for the 1 day you served in jail. I'll give you time to get the costs paid. This matter would be resolved. You'd be processed and released on this case today. Is that your understanding? Is that what you want?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you plead to the open container charge?
No contest.
I'll accept that. Adjudication of guilt, credit for 1 day, 350 days to pay the cost, 30 days to appeal. You'll be processed and released today. All right, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Wood, refuse.
Waive, Your Honor.
Okay, Wood, appoint the public defender, stay the bond at 500, and the second case, false ID, stay the bond at 500.
Rossfield, refuse.
Waive, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Brasfield, I think she's got some, not sure, maybe competency stuff going on. In any event, I'll take no action on the add-on bond. I'm gonna stay the bonds, 2,500 on count 1, 1,000 on count 2, and I'll appoint the public defender, Ms. Brasfield. Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name.
Alvin Brown.
Mr. Brown, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of cocaine. Bonds been set at 1,000 on count 1, 2,500 on count 2. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Good luck, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name, please?
Shaquila Clayton.
Callaway? Oh, refuse, thank you.
Waive, Your Honor.
All right, so Callaway, I'll appoint the public defender, stay the bonds, 500 and 2,500, and order no return to oh, this was not a store, it's maybe a job site. Yeah, just no return to the scene. All right, Ms. Clayton, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of cocaine.
Yeah.
I'll appoint the public defender, and it looks like you're currently out on bond on the same thing from
What's his name?
January, the end of January.
I think I know.
Has that case been filed on state?
Not as yet, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, what I'm gonna bump the bond up to $3,500. I'll take no action on the out on bond.
Just hand this to her. Let me find this guy.
Come back again for the same thing, expect the bond to get revoked, okay?
Dang it. Give me his name. What's his name?
So it's 350.
Colón Maldonado's behavior.
Waive, Your Honor.
So I'll appoint the public defender and I'll stay the bonds on the warrant, including no victim contact, no social media, no internet except for legitimate employment, no weapons, firearms, no drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, give me his name. I don't know what I did.
It's all on the warrant, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, no victim contact, it says no social media, no internet except for legitimate employment. No weapons, firearms, drugs.
Internationally, and he can't afford to buy nothing.
Say it again?
Huh?
Yeah. It says legitimate employment.
Just a question for Madam Clerk, Your Honor. So we pled out one of the inmates. I'm trying to get his name again. He was the one you asked if he needed to go back to the hotel because his family was at the
That was
airport.
the
Mental.
Brit.
Okay. Is there a way, because we're trying to rush to get him processed out so he can make his flight. He can't afford to pay for another ticket, and everybody's already at the airport. They just said they need the court order. Is there a way for you to get them the court order so they can get him out of here to make the flight?
No, it's,
Today. You just pled him out.
it was, Kumiski. C-U-M-I-S-K-E-Y.
Yeah, they just need the court order so we can get. Mhm. So what did you say they needed? Because she said she sent an email.
that he got 10 time served.
She said, I guess downstairs needs the court order saying,
Yes.
you already sent it downstairs
Send it downstairs, so.
via email?
so Latoya should have it, yeah.
She said she sent it to her via email to check her email. Thank you, sorry.
No, you tell me when you're ready.
Mhm.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Please state your name.
Lucilenia Garcia Escapa.
Ma'am, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of MDMA. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Any objection to pretrial release?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, ma'am, I'll release you on pretrial release, subject to random testing.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
That's the only condition, Your Honor?
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Felix Fedowitz.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a capias. Been charged with burglary of a structure and criminal mischief. Bonds have been set at $2,500 on count one, $1,000 on count two. In order, you have no contact with any victim or witness, no return to the scene of the offense, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no weapons or firearms. Good luck. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Shandell Francis.
Mr. Francis, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a capias. You've been charged with second-degree murder with a firearm and tampering with physical evidence. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. State what your position on bond.
Your Honor, as probable cause has already been established with regard to count one, which second-degree murder with a firearm, that is a life felony. State is asking that defendant be held no bond pursuant to Arthur.
Okay. Defense?
We would just ask for a pretrial detention hearing on count one, Your Honor, and a bond on two.
Okay, so on count one, I'm gonna stay the bond at none. We're gonna set a pretrial detention hearing. Count two, the bond on the capias is $5,000. You ordered not to possess weapons or firearms, so you'll get a date for a hearing.
And that pretrial detention hearing date is March 18th, 9 a.m., Division 18, Courtroom 7B.
Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name.
Michael Grayson.
Mr. Grayson, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a capias. You've been charged with burglary of a conveyance, fraudulent use of credit card, grand theft,
Wait, fraudulent use of a,
fraudulent use of a credit card. That's what you've been charged with. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. Bonds on the warrant have been set at $2,500 on each count, so that's times 3. Ordered not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case, and you're not to return to the scene of the offense. Good luck, sir.
Oh, thank you. Wait.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Aaron Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for arson in the 2nd degree. This is a probable cause order, so you've been charged with that. You've got a bond of $50,000. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're ordered not to have any contact with any victim, witness, or co-defendant in the case. You're not to return to the scene, possess no weapons or firearms. Good luck, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name.
Aaron Johnson, sir.
Mr. Johnson, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant for, looks like grand theft stemming from 2010, 2025, and so you bonded on 2015 okay, so no action on the out on bond. On the new grand theft, your bond is $2,500. No contact with any victim or witness in the case, no return to the scene. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Your Honor, state is going to request that both cases be consolidated to the lower case number, which is currently in Division 20. The 25 CF 2210, which is in 14, should be transferred to Division 20.
I'll grant that.
No problem.
Yes. Yeah. Bishop, I know. Is a choir robe. It is. That's why the arms are like that. It's a choir robe. It was. I know that my one downtown has got it's a regular sleeve. This was. I think this was Andrew Baines. It was a choir robe. He brought it. So the women have a regular one. They got this one, which Harry Potter catching it on everything that's sticking out. Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am. Please state your name.
Good afternoon. My name is Ina Kiforuk.
All right, ma'am. You're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for fleeing or attempting to elude. You've also been arrested in, oh, I'm sorry, that's not you, that's somebody else. Second case, okay. All right, the fleeing or attempting to elude, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm gonna set the bond at $1,500.
The defendant has an immigration detainer good.
Also be aware somebody from immigration is gonna come talk to you. All right, good luck.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name.
Jay Comersberger.
All right, sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a capias. You've been charged with petty theft, 2 prior convictions. Your bond is set at $1,500. Ordered no return to the scene, no contact with any victim or witness in the case. All right, good luck, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name, please?
Jennifer Lamar.
Thank you, Ms. Lamar. You're here for initial appearance. All right, ma'am, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'll appoint the public defender. Your bonds are $2,500 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2.
Yes, sir.
Good luck, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Please state your name.
Brenda Leland.
Ms. Lind, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You've got a bond of $2,500 on count one, $500 on count two. You have a second case, open container, that's a $250 bond. Okay. Good luck, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Ryan McCafferty, good afternoon.
Mr. McCaffrey, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for driving with a suspended license, suspended or revoked as habitual offender. Okay. Got a $2,500 bond. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. All right. Good luck. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Christopher Aaron Monroe.
Mr. Monroe, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. All right. Set the bond at $2,500. I'll order you not to possess any weapons or firearms. You also arrested in a second case for, this is pursuant to a warrant stemming from September 21st of last year on a charge of fleeing or attempting to elude. I'll set that bond at $2,500 also. Public defenders appointed in both cases. Good luck, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Sandy Fred Monroe.
Mr. Monroe. Okay. See, Mr. Monroe from Monroe, New York. Sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for failing to appear to status hearing on a grand theft charge way back from October of 2015. Judge set the bond at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Okay. Good luck, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name.
Sean Palmer.
Mr. Palmer, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for failing to appear at a trial management conference February 20th of this year on charges resisting an officer without violence and possession of a controlled substance. The judge set the bond at none. All right. Good luck, sir.
Your Honor, Rank Joshua, refuse.
Waive, Your Honor.
Mr. Rank, okay, I'll appoint the public defender in all cases, and I'll stay the bonds. $7,500, $5,000, and $2,500 on, oh, and fourth one of $2,500.
Your Honor, Mr. Rank has a number of cases pending. The lowest case number is in Division 11.
Yep.
State is requesting that 25 CF 1595, currently in Division 15, and 25 CF 1597, currently in Division 20, both be transferred to Division 11.
Okay, yeah, we've already got another one in 11. I'll grant that. Yes, yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name.
Jimmy St. Remy.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. You have been arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated stalking with credible threat and an assault. I'll appoint the public defender. State you have a position on bond.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh,
No, Your Honor.
Does the defense?
Just ask that you consider the fact he has no criminal history when setting the bond, Your Honor.
Just a moment. Set the bond at 5,000 on count one, 1,000 on count two. Order no contact with Jean Bertho Belizaire, if I'm saying that right. You're to have absolutely no contact with her, to maintain a separate residence from her, possess no weapons and no firearms, no return to the scene.
Your Honor, I apologize. Can you repeat the amount for count one?
5,000 and 1,000. All right. Good luck. Good luck, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name.
Courtney Rogers.
I'm sorry, you said
Courtney Rogers.
Courtney Rogers, okay. Mr. Rogers, you're here for initial appearance. Been arrested pursuant to a capias. You've been charged with trafficking in 10 grams or more of substituted cathinones. If I'm saying that right, possession of a firearm by convicted felon and grand theft of a motor vehicle. State, I will appoint the public defender. State, do you wish to be heard with regards to bond?
No, Your Honor, he is entitled to a bond. Trafficking is only held no bond when it's fentanyl.
Okay. Defense, do you wish to be heard with regards to bond?
I'm just double checking this really quick, Your Honor. Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay. 2022. No, I would ask for a reasonable bond, Your Honor.
Understanding that it's probably at least 25,000 or 50,000.
Yeah. I'm going to set the bond at 25,000 on count one, 5,000 on count two, and it's been set at 5,000 on count three. Possess no weapons or firearms. Good luck, sir.
I can say something.
Well, I've appointed you an attorney, and today's not the trial. Today's just the date where I set a bond and conditions of release. If there's something you want to say, you probably should say to the attorney before you say to me, because everything's being recorded.
I can print it for you. Just if you give me a second. Just hold.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Please state your name.
Margaret Glenrose Simpson.
Thank you, Ms. Simpson. You're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for driving with a suspended license. And you're currently out on bond for the same thing. Okay. All right, so on the new case, I'm gonna raise the bond to $3,500. I'll take no action on the out on bond. I'm gonna order that you not drive without a valid license.
Yes, sir.
Get pulled over again, expect to be held on no bond.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Ray Sylvester.
Mr. Sylvester, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of MDMA. Okay, and you're also out on bond on two other cases. Okay. All right, state what's your position on the out on bonds? It doesn't appear either one of those have been charged yet.
That is correct, Your Honor. Although I would note that with regard to the 25 CF 1106, he was arrested with the co-defendant who we have already seen. First name is Shaquila, so I would ask that you take that into consideration, Your Honor.
I just ask that you maybe set a higher bond as opposed to revoking his out on bond, given that it has not been filed, Your Honor.
I'm gonna raise the bond to $5,000. I'll take no action on the out on bonds. I'm gonna order that you not have any contact with any witness or co-defendant in any of these cases. It's condition of bond. All right. Good luck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name, please?
Shalonda Vitor.
All right, ma'am, you're here for initial appearance. You were arrested for a city ordinance violation, open container. You're also arrested in a second case for possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'll appoint the public defender in both cases. On the open container, I'm going to reduce that bond to $100. On the felony case, I'll stay the bonds at 2,500 on count 1 and 500 on count 2. All right, good luck, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Daniel Ward.
Mr. Ward, you're here for initial appearance. Been arrested pursuant to a warrant, charges of possession of cocaine, possession of controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of cannabis. Let's see. And you're currently out on bond. What's the status on his out on bond or his out on pretrial release case? Has that been filed on?
No, Your Honor. Yes, I apologize. It has been filed on. The return date of April 30th is his pretrial.
Okay. I've been on pretrial since August, and this just hit. Okay. I'll take no action on the out on bond. On the new case, the possession of cocaine, the bond's 1,500. Count 2 is 1,000. Counts 3 and 4. I'm going to go ahead and set an ROR on those. I'm going to set bonds at 1,000 on each of those. Yeah, I'm going to set bonds at 1,000 on the set of ROR. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. So I'll take no action on the out on the pretrial release.
Your Honor, the defendant has a lower case number pending in Division 14. State is requesting that 24 CF 16892, currently in Division 11, be transferred to Division 14.
I'll grant that. If you want. Yes, ma'am. Or recess.
$1993.
19 what?
1993. 93.
Sir, you were picked up on conspiracy to traffic a controlled substance and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Court finds probable cause.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, your voice is coming in and out. It's very choppy. I'm not able to hear what is being said.
Sir, you were picked up on conspiracy to traffic a controlled substance and unlawful use of a two-way communication device.
¿Usted se le detuvo?
Go ahead, Madam Interpreter.
Señor, a usted se le detuvo por también por conspiración. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Could you repeat that?
Conspiracy to traffic in a controlled substance and unlawful use of a two-way communication device.
Por complicidad en el uso de sustancia controlada y por tener ilegalmente radio de doble. Yes. ¿Hay suficiente indicio de criminalidad?
The court finds probable cause.
¿Hay suficiente indicio de criminalidad?
All right. Defendant does not qualify for PTR because he was out on bond in case 25 CF 35.
no califica para salir en libertad porque estaba ya bajo fianza por el caso 25 CF35.
I apologize, Your Honor. What was the case number for out on bond? 25CF35, counsel. Thank you.
And it's an Orange County case number.
You said that's, yes, the Orange County case number. All right. Got where I was. Bond amount is $100,000 for the first count, $2,500 for the second count.
El monto era $100,000 por el primer cargo y $2,500 por el segundo.
The conditions, no contacts with co-defendants. No, I'm not doing that one.
Sir.
No.
Las condiciones son prohibido tener contacto con los otros acusados.
No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms.
Prohibido el consumo de drogas, el uso de armas y armas de fuego.
What was the bond in the Orange County case, PTR?
He had 2 charges, and one of the bond amounts was $2,500 and the other was $500.
Las dos fianzas por los otros dos cargos por el condado de Orange era uno de $2,500 y el otro de $500.
And that's a 2025 case. Court's gonna revoke the bond in 25CF35.
Quedará cancelado, eliminado la fianza en el caso de 25 CF35.
I'm gonna issue it again at $7,000 for the first count and $3,000 for the second count.
Fijaré la fianza nuevamente en $7,000 por el primer cargo y $3,000 por el segundo.
Anything further, state defense? No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next date on demand.
Make sure you say that out loud. Next court date. Just say it loud enough, that's all I'm saying.
Next court date on demand.
For the record. Yes. All right. Carlos Mendez Velez.
PD approved.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Buenas tardes, señor. Diga su nombre y fecha de nacimiento para que conste en actas.
Carlos Méndez Vélez, 10 de octubre de 1984.
Carlos Méndez Vélez, 10 October 10th, 1984.
Sir, you were picked up on possession of a controlled substance without a prescription.
Señor, usted se le detuvo por tener en su posesión una sustancia controlada sin récipe médico.
Possession and use of drug. Actually, I'm going to see, Madam Interpreter, I'm going to try to disconnect to see if we can get a better connection. I'll call back. All right.
Thank you.
I need somebody who sees it. I don't want to be here all day.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, certified Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
Madam Interpreter, we're conducting IAs. I'm not sure if you're the same interpreter, so I'm saying it for the record.
Okay, no, this is a different interpreter.
Okay. Still on Carlos Mendez Velez. Sir, you were picked up on possession of a controlled substance without prescription, use of drug paraphernalia, and driving while license or revoked.
Señor, usted fue detenido por tener sustancias reguladas sin receta y conducir con la licencia suspendida.
The court finds probable cause.
Determinamos que existen indicios de criminalidad.
Defendant does not qualify for PTR because he was out on bond on 2 different cases.
El acusado no cumple con los requisitos de la libertad provisional porque se encontraba libre bajo fianza en 2 casos diferentes.
Actually, he was out on bond in one and on PTR in the other.
De hecho, estaba libre bajo fianza en uno y libertad provisional el otro.
Bond in this case is $2,500 for the first count, $500 for the second count, and $500 for the third count.
En cuanto a este caso, cargo número 1, la fianza es de $2,500, cargo número 2, $2,500 y cargo número 3, $500.
With the conditions of no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms.
Se le prohíbe la tenencia de todo tipo de armas, armas de fuego, municiones y drogas.
PTR, what was the bond prior case?
Le preguntó al programa de libertad provisional cuáles eran las fianzas en el caso anterior.
It was $2,000, Your Honor.
$2,000, su señoría.
$2,000. Which case is that? Was that the driving while licenses?
No, that's the attached registration and license plate number.
Okay, and go ahead, Madam Interpreter.
¿Qué caso era ese? ¿El de conducir con la licencia revocada o suspendida? No, su señoría. El de utilizar una tablilla que no estaba designada al vehículo.
How about the other one, PTR?
¿Y el otro caso?
The other case, he was on direct pretrial release. There was no bond.
En el otro caso se encontraba él en libertad provisional directo. No tuvo que prestar fianza.
Court's going to revoke in 2CT001.
Se revoca la fianza en cuanto al caso 24CT3001.
Bond will be $5,000.
La fianza es de $5,000.
And I believe court can revoke
Creo que se puede revocar la libertad provisional. Fiscalía.
I believe the court can revoke PTR.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe 24CT, are there two counts? Or am I missing
One
it?
is that 3002, 3001.
Okay.
A la fiscalía, creo que nosotros podemos rebuscar la libertad provisional. Sí, su señoría. Y eso es en cuanto al caso 3001 o el 3002.
I'm going to revoke the release if I can do that. I'm going to issue a bond amount of $1,000.
Se emite una fianza de $1,000.
All right. This is for CP3002.
En cuanto al caso 24CT3002.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that because it's not related. I'm not going to revoke the CR. It's going to increase the other bond.
No voy a hacer eso porque no está relacionado. No voy a revocar la libertad provisional, pero sí voy a aumentar la otra fianza.
What did I raise to? I revoked 24CT. What did I say? Madam Interpreter, just
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna leave that. Because on my paper I wrote 2, so that's fine. All right, so do we have the bond amounts?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, if you can repeat the bond amount for the case that you're revoking. You're taking no action on the PTR case?
I'm taking no action on the PTR because it was attached.
Okay.
All right. For the one I revoked in 24CT3001, I believe that's the duelist.
Yeah, that's
Revoqué la fianza en el 24CT3001, el de conducir con licencia suspendida.
He's on PTR for that case.
I thought it was the other one.
No, he's on PTR for 24CT3001, and he's out on bond on 24CT3002.
En ese caso es el que él se encuentra en libertad provisional. Se encuentra en libertad provisional en el 24CT3001 y libre bajo fianza en el 24CT3002.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is all a mess. Stay looking at it wrong. So I guess I am revoking on the PTR 24CT001, driving while license suspended or revoked, because it's a civil charge. Is this the kick at bar?
Bueno, así que entonces, disculpen la confusión. Se revoca la fianza en el caso 24CT3001, conducir con la licencia suspendida o revocada, que es el mismo caso que estamos atendiendo hoy, la misma acusación.
sorry about all the confusion. I'm gonna issue a $3,000 bond on the one that was PTR.
Y en el caso en el que se encontraba en libertad provisional, y le pido disculpas por toda la confusión, se emite una fianza de $3,000.
I'm not gonna touch the other page, which is attached registration, not assigned.
El otro caso no lo voy a tocar, el de utilizar una matriculación que no estaba designada al vehículo.
Are we all clear?
¿Estamos claros?
Yes, Your Honor.
As far as the case that we're here on today, you said the count 1, 2, and 3. I only have 2 on the charging affidavit.
Cases, that's fine.
Su señoría, en cuanto al caso que estamos atendiendo hoy, usted dijo que tenía 3 cargos, pero aquí en el documento acusatorio yo solamente tengo 2. Parece ser que tiene 2 casos.
So I'm meaning 3 charges over the 2 cases. So there are 2 cases, there's fine and safe. Other cases.
Son 3 cargos entre los 2 casos que tiene.
So are we good on the bond amount?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Gracias.
Conditions, no driving while license suspended or revoked, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms.
Se le prohíbe conducir con la licencia suspendida o revocada y la tenencia de todo tipo de armas, armas de fuego y municiones. Gracias, señor.
Next court date on demand.
La fecha de la próxima audiencia se anunciará por señalamiento judicial.
So for 25 CF 762, the next court date will be on demand.
En cuanto al caso 25 CF 762, la fecha de la próxima audiencia será por señalamiento judicial.
For 25 CT 1021, next court date will be March 20th, 8:30 a.m. to 4:40.
En cuanto al caso 2025 CT 1021, la próxima audiencia será el 20 de marzo a las 8:30 de la mañana en la sala 4E.
If out on bond, it would be April 3rd, 8:30 a.m. courtroom 4E.
Si se ha prestado la fianza y está libre, sería el 3 de abril a las 8:30 de la mañana en la sala 4E.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Jorge Nieves Zayas. Or Zayas.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Philip Arroyo on behalf of Mr. Nieves.
Counsel? Can't see, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's private counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, you were picked up. Go ahead and state your name and date of birth for the record.
Señor, por favor, díganos su nombre completo y su fecha de nacimiento para las actas.
Jorge Luis Nieves Sayas, 3 de marzo del 83.
Jorge Luis Nieves Sayas, March 3rd, 1983.
Sir, you were picked up on trafficking fentanyl, 4 grams.
Señor, usted fue detenido por tráfico de fentanilo 4 gramos.
So, Madam Interpreter, I'm going to read all the charges before you interpret because it'll take too long going line by line.
Okay.
Conspiracy to traffic in a controlled substance and unlawful use of a two-way communication device.
Conspiración para traficar con una sustancia regulada y uso ilícito de un medio de comunicación de 2 vías.
Court finds probable cause.
Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad.
Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to the nature of the charges.
El acusado no cumple con los requisitos de la libertad provisional por la naturaleza de la acusación.
Counsel, you have something to add?
Licenciado, ¿tiene algo que añadir?
Yes, Judge. The defense would ask if the state intends to seek pretrial detention.
Sí, su señoría. La defensa desea saber si la fiscalía va a solicitar prisión preventiva.
The state is not seeking pretrial detention.
La fiscalía no va a solicitar prisión preventiva.
Judge, may I inquire my client?
Su señoría, ¿me permite hacerle algunas preguntas a mi cliente?
What purpose, counsel?
¿Con qué propósito, licenciado?
Judge, he is entitled to a bond. The state's not seeking pretrial detention. They just expressed on the record they're not seeking pretrial detention, Judge.
Su señoría, él tiene derecho a una fianza. La fiscalía no va a solicitar prisión preventiva. Ya lo han dejado saber en actas.
Court intends to The court intends to set a bond, counsel. I just didn't say I want to give you an opportunity to say something.
Este juzgado tiene la intención de conceder una fianza. No lo dijo porque quería darle primero la oportunidad de hablar.
All right. Bond in the first is $100,000.
La fianza del cargo número 1, $100,000.
Bond in the second count is $25,000.
Cargo número 2, $25,000.
And the bond in the third count is $2,500.
Cargo número 3, la fianza es de $2,500.
The conditions of no contact with co-defendant.
Como condición se le prohíbe todo tipo de contacto con los coacusados.
No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms.
Se le prohíbe la tenencia de todo tipo de armas, armas de fuego, alcohol y drogas.
Judge, if I may address the court.
You may.
The reason defense counsel wanted to inquire my client.
Counsel, wait a minute. You got to wait on the interpreter.
Su señoría, ¿me permite, por favor, dirigirme a este juzgado? Sí, por favor, proceda.
The defense needs to extract testimony from my client.
I can't. What did you say?
La defensa necesita elicitar testimonio de mi cliente. No le escuché. ¿Qué fue lo que dijo?
Defense counsel is requesting to extract testimony from my client.
El abogado de la defensa está solicitando elicitar testimonio de mi cliente.
As it is our position that the $100,000 bond is excessive according to his financial means.
Ya que nuestra postura que una fianza de $100,000 es excesiva en relación a los medios económicos de mi cliente.
May I inquire my client?
¿Me permite hacerle algunas preguntas a mi cliente?
For what purpose? To ask him what his financial means are, counsel?
¿Con qué propósito, licenciado? ¿Para preguntarle cuáles son los medios económicos de él?
Judge, defense counsel has the right to ask my client his questions regarding his ties to the community, his prior criminal history.
Su señoría, la defensa tiene el derecho de preguntarle a mi cliente cuáles son sus lazos con la comunidad y sus antecedentes.
And his financial means.
Y cuáles son sus medios económicos.
In order to argue for a lesser bond, Judge.
Para poder argumentar que se le concede una fianza más baja.
State.
Your Honor, I'd ask the court to stay the bond that was originally set. Counsel can file a motion to reduce bond, allow state to have a chance to get all of the defendant's criminal history and be able to present as well as the new law immigration status properly to the court.
Judge, the defense.
Su señoría, la defensa solicita que las fianzas permanezcan tal cual fueron establecidas para que la fiscalía tenga la oportunidad de solicitar los antecedentes penales del acusado y incluir en la argumentación la nueva ley relacionada al estado migratorio del acusado.
Judge, my client is not an immigrant.
Señoría, mi cliente no es un inmigrante.
He is Puerto Rican, a U.S. territory.
Él es puertorriqueño. Puerto Rico es un territorio de los Estados Unidos.
And the defense has the right to question my client at first appearance.
Y la defensa tiene el derecho de interrogar a mi cliente en la audiencia de primera instancia.
And the first appearance judge does have discretion to set a reasonable bond according to his finances.
Y el juez de la audiencia de primera instancia tiene bajo su discreción la capacidad de pautar una fianza que se alinee con los medios económicos del acusado.
Counsel, you may briefly inquire.
Yes.
Licenciado, puede hacerle preguntas brevemente.
Mr. Nieves, how long have you lived in the Central Florida area?
Señor Nieves, ¿cuánto tiempo lleva usted viviendo en el área de Florida Central?
Como 2 años.
Approximately 2 years.
And if the court would reduce your bond, where would you be staying?
Si este juzgado le reduce la cantidad de la fianza, ¿dónde se va a quedar usted?
¿Me puede hacer la pregunta de nuevo?
Could you please repeat the question?
Where would you stay if you are bonded out today?
Si usted presta la fianza hoy y sale de la cárcel, ¿dónde va a ir a vivir?
En la casa de mi esposa.
At my wife's house.
Okay, and what is the address?
¿Y cuál es esa dirección?
Winter Park. Alta.
Winter Park.
Give the full address.
La dirección completa, ¿la sabe?
Winter Park, Altamont 347.
Winter Park, Altamont 347.
Okay, do you have any prior criminal history?
Señor, ¿usted tiene antecedentes penales?
No.
No.
Do you have any failures to appear at any court hearing?
¿Tiene alguna falta de comparecencia ante alguna audiencia en el tribunal?
No.
No.
How much money do you currently have in your bank account?
Ahora mismo en su cuenta de banco, ¿cuánto dinero tiene usted?
Tiene que estar como en 80 bajo cero. Que te debo 80 por ahí.
Approximately negative 80. I owe money to the bank.
Okay, and if necessary, would you be willing to surrender your passport?
Si fuera necesario, señor, ¿usted estaría dispuesto a entregar su pasaporte?
Si fuera necesario, sí.
If necessary, yes.
Where do you currently work?
Ahora mismo, ¿dónde trabaja usted?
SDC, una compañía de montar tubería. SDC.
Repítame, deletrémelo para que lo pueda escuchar bien.
SDC.
Es S de sol, D de dedo, C de cielo.
That was, Madam Interpreter, was that in English?
Yes, he said it in English, but I can't understand. So I'm trying to ask him if the letters with Spanish words. I think he said SDC, but I'm not sure. It's a tubing company.
DC.
And what is your position there?
¿Sabe qué posición tiene usted en esa compañía?
Pailayer líder.
¿Cómo?
Pailayer y el líder del grupo.
I apologize, Your Honor. I know he said group leader, but he said something first. I don't know if it's too far away from the microphone or there was interference. I could not understand what he said first.
Madam Interpreter, have him repeat it.
Señor, repítame, dijo que era líder de grupo, pero antes dijo otra cosa que no se entendió. ¿Lo puede decir cerca del micrófono?
Parlayer.
Pipe layer.
Pipe layer, for purposes of the record. I think he's meaning to say pipe layer. Okay. Sir, do you have any children who depend on you?
Señor, ¿tiene usted hijos que dependen de usted?
Sí.
Yes.
No further questions, Judge. Just argument.
No tengo más preguntas, su señoría, meramente la argumentación.
Your Honor, I have questions.
Su señoría, yo tengo preguntas.
Go ahead, counsel.
Proceda.
Mr. Nieves-Diaz, you said you only had $98 in your bank account?
Señor, usted dijo que solamente tenía $98 en la cuenta de banco.
No, que debo.
No, that I owe.
I'm sorry. How much money do you have in your bank account right now?
Señor, en su cuenta de banco, ¿cuánto dinero tiene ahora mismo?
Cero.
Zero.
Okay. How much money do you make a week?
¿Cuánto dinero gana usted a la semana?
800 las 40 horas, 800 algo.
For 40 hours, 800 and something.
Does your wife work?
¿Su esposa trabaja?
Sí.
Yes.
Well, how much does she make?
¿Cuánto se gana ella?
No sé, desconozco.
I do not know. I do not know.
Do you own or rent your home?
¿Usted es dueño de su casa o la alquila?
Alquilo por ahora.
I rent for now.
How much is your rent a month?
¿Cuánto paga usted de renta al mes?
2.500.
2,500.
And you hired private counsel?
¿Usted contrató un abogado privado?
¿Perdón?
I'm sorry?
You have hired private counsel?
Entonces, ¿usted contrató un abogado privado?
Sí, mi cuñado.
Yes, my brother-in-law.
Who's going to be paying your bond?
¿Quién va a pagar la fianza suya, señor?
Mi cuñado.
My brother-in-law.
And how much does your brother-in-law make?
¿Y cuánto se gana su cuñado?
¿Perdón?
Judge, at this point, we're going to object.
En Nueva York. No sé.
I don't know, it's in New York.
State is fishing. I don't see the relevancy of his brother-in-law having to say how much his brother-in-law makes a year.
Su señoría, en este momento vamos a objetar. La fiscalía está tratando de conseguir información. No veo cuál es la pertinencia de saber cuánto se gana el cuñado.
Your Honor, the relevance is counsel has put the defendant's ability to pay a bond into question.
Su señoría, la pertinencia es que la defensa ha puesto en cuestión la capacidad del acusado de prestar la fianza.
The defendant just testified that his brother-in-law is going to be paying the bond.
Y él acaba de declarar que su cuñado será quien pagará la fianza.
If we don't know how much money his brother-in-law makes and has access to,
Si no sabemos cuánto dinero gana el cuñado y a cuánto dinero tiene acceso,
then this court cannot properly set a bond as to the defendant's means.
entonces este juzgado no puede pautar una fianza adecuada a los medios del acusado.
And so at this point, the state would be asking the court to keep the bond as set.
Así que en este momento la fiscalía le solicita al juzgado que mantenga la fianza tal cual.
So let me say something after I just looked something up. So
Déjame decir algo, que he buscado una información.
So on the initial appearance sheet, information sheet, it says 4 grams plus.
En la hoja, en el documento de información de la vista de primera instancia, dice 4 gramos o más.
On the warrant, it says less than 4 grams.
En la orden de arresto dice menos de 4 gramos.
So for that reason,
Así que por esa razón,
what will reduce, hold on, let me go back. In the affidavit, it says less than 4 grams.
sí, en el documento acusatorio dice menos de 4 gramos.
Your Honor, I don't have
this information sheet. That was
Su señoría, si me permite, esta hoja de información no la tengo.
I am showing more than 4 grams in the information.
Aquí en la hoja de información veo que dice más de 4 gramos.
No, that's one place and then at the top paragraph. And then there's another one. No, I hate that they use these because it makes it confusing. Less than. And now the greater side of it, and this is the less than. This is greater than. Right, right. So they want you to do. Right. That means it's less than. No, no judge. But when I was reading the affidavit, first of all, they always use the same sign. It's supposed to go one way or the other, but I noticed that it's not done like that on these affidavits. So if it would have an amount if it was something more. If it was 28 grams, if it was 16 grams, if it was 10 grams. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
sir.
so you're saying that because of this, it's greater than 4, then what's the gram amount? Because the bond schedule is kind of listed, at least, bond schedule that court can reference is by grams, 4 to 14 is $100,000. So it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that in any of the paperwork.
Yes, Judge, and if I can get close to the microphone so that interpreter. Counsel. Madam Interpreter, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, because the affidavit does not specifically specify anything except over 4 grams,
Como el documento acusatorio no especifica nada más que en exceso de 4 gramos,
then the court has to assume the lowest trafficking amount, which is 4 to 14.
así que el juzgado tiene que presumir la menor cantidad, que es 4.214.
That's what I was assuming, and that's what I was going by until sheet I just showed you.
Eso es lo que estoy presumiendo y con ese número es que estoy trabajando.
Oh, sorry.
Judge, may I address the court?
Su señoría me permite dirigirme al juzgado.
Very briefly, so we can.
Yes, Judge, I have the warrant.
Brevemente.
I have the warrant in front of me. It was just handed to me by one of the deputies.
Tengo aquí la orden de arresto, me la entregó uno de los alguaciles.
And I'm seeing count one trafficking in fentanyl less than 4 grams.
Veo aquí que dice cargo número 1, tráfico de fentanilo menos de 4 gramos.
So.
Licenciado, ¿tiene algo que añadir?
Judge, we would ask that a reasonable bond be set, that the bond be reduced to $40,000 to $50,000, which is what his family has indicated that they're able to pay.
Estamos solicitando que se reduzca la fianza, que se imponga una fianza de entre 40 y 50 mil dólares, que es lo que la familia ha indicado que podría prestar.
Yes, Your Honor. The only thing that I have in front of me, and I believe the court has in front of her, is the wanted persons table information sheet.
Su señoría, si yo lo que tengo aquí ante mí, y creo que es lo mismo que tiene el juzgado, es la hoja de la orden de arresto.
In order for this charge to even be trafficking, it looks like it's a clerical error. The state would be asking for a 24-hour reset for law enforcement to be able to amend.
Parece ser que esto ha sido un error clerical, así que estamos solicitando que se aplace 24 horas para que las autoridades puedan suplementar el documento.
So we're gonna come back to this. I'm gonna do it because I only have 15 more to do. So just give me.
Bueno, vamos a regresar a este caso más adelante porque ya lo que me faltan son 12 o 15 casos que puedo atender rápidamente.
Judge, just for the record, we would object to the state position. My client is entitled to bonds. It's not my client's fault that law enforcement committed a mistake. He is entitled to bond, and we're asking to reduce bond.
Su señoría, solo para que conste en acta, nosotros nos oponemos a que se le conceda un aplazamiento de 24 horas a la fiscalía. Mi cliente tiene derecho a una fianza, no es culpa de él que la policía haya cometido un error. Así que estamos oponiéndonos a esta solicitud y solicitando que se imponga fianza.
Duly noted, counsel. We're gonna come back.
Thank you.
Y lo he escuchado, licenciado, regresaremos a este caso.
Stephen Lewis. Actually, Madam Interpreter, I think, can you make an announcement? Actually, we're gonna have to do it. That's the last Spanish case. So if anybody else.
Wasn't there one more Spanish?
Interpreter?
3.
Your Honor, we have one more Spanish person. Orlando Reyes Rivera.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I found it. Orlando Reyes Rivera.
Orlando Reyes Rivera.
He approved. Good afternoon, sir. State your name.
Buenas tardes, señor. Por favor, díganos su nombre completo y su fecha de nacimiento para las actas.
Orlando Reyes Rivera, septiembre 5, 1983.
Orlando Reyes Rivera, September 5, 1983.
Sir, you were picked up on, let me read it. Possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis.
Señor, usted fue detenido por tenencia de menos de 20 gramos de cannabis.
Possession and use of drug paraphernalia.
Uso de tenencia de instrumentos para el uso de drogas.
Possession of a controlled substance without prescription.
Tenencia de una sustancia regulada sin receta.
Tampering with evidence.
Interferir con la prueba.
And use of disposal of a weapon during a felony.
Utilización de un arma durante la comisión de un delito.
Finds probable cause.
Determinamos que existen indicios de criminalidad.
Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to an inability to verify residency.
El acusado no cumple con los requisitos de la libertad provisional porque no tiene la capacidad de corroborar la residencia.
Bond and count, the first count is $500.
La fianza del cargo número 1, $500.
$250 in the second count.
$250 el cargo número 2.
$2,500 in the third count.
$2,500 el cargo número 3.
$1,000 in the fourth count.
Cargo número 4, $1,000.
$5,000 in the last count.
Y el último cargo, $5,000.
Conditions, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms.
Como condición se le prohíbe la tenencia de todo tipo de armas, armas de fuego, municiones y drogas.
And to the extent you have a firearm, it needs to be surrendered.
Si usted tiene un arma de fuego, tendrá que entregarla a las autoridades.
Nothing for this, Judge. Within 7 days.
Nada más, su señoría.
Immediately. Let's say that. All right. I don't believe that. No, I don't ticket, but. All right, thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Next court date on demand.
La fecha de la próxima audiencia será por señalamiento judicial.
All right. I believe that was the last Spanish case for a while. We will come back to the one. Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Stephen Lewis.
Plea approved.
Somebody put on.
Oh, sorry.
Your Honor, is it possible to have Kendrick Coleman go? We have no more Spanish.
I didn't hear you. PTR, what'd you say?
Is it possible we can have Kendrick Coleman go first? We have no more Spanish.
That's going to be statewide, Your Honor. Not sure. I'm not on Spanish counsel. Any particular reason why you want him to go first?
I believe they're going to be removing him after this.
Okay. No, it's misunderstanding. No, I was incorrect. All right. You said Kendrick Coleman?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and state your name and date of birth for the record, sir.
Kendrick James Coleman, 1994, April 23rd.
Sir, you're picked up on trespass, failure to leave free on the order of an owner. Court find probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to inability to verify community ties. Bond is $250, but no return to the scene. Thank you, sir.
Next court date on demand.
Stephen Lewis.
Plea approved.
Your Honor, I do a probable cause argument.
Actually, I'm coming back then because you're going to move. Well, I'll come back to it. I don't want to burn time. We have arguments at the end.
It's very brief, but we can come back to it. That's fine.
We'll come back.
Go have a seat, sir. We'll come back.
All right. Nelson Molina.
PD approved.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Nelson Nathaniel Molina, May 3rd, 87.
State your name and date of birth again, sir.
Nelson Nathaniel Molina, May 3rd, 87.
Sir, you were picked up on violation of probation. No bond. Thank you.
Next court date, March 18th, 8:45 a.m., courtroom 5F.
Christian Serrano.
He bonded, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Lenny Cruz. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Lenny Cruz, 072902.
Sir, you're picked up on battery, touch, or strike, criminal mischief, false name by an arrestee, resisting arrest without violence. I'm missing something. 2 counts of battery, touch, or strike. Court finds probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to other legal constraints. Bond in the first count, which is a battery, is $500. Bond in the second count is $250. Bond in the third count is $1,000. Bond in the fourth count is
$250. Bond in the fifth count is $250. Conditions, no contact, no return. If they reside together, he can return one time with law enforcement to retrieve personal effects. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. All right, thank you, sir.
Next court date on demand.
Emily Estrella.
PD approved.
Good afternoon, Ms. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Emily Estrella, April 27, 2001.
Ms. You were picked up on battery, touch, or strike. Court finds probable cause. And it does not qualify for PTR due to on probation in 24 CF 3368. And the nature of the charges. Bond will be $500. With a condition of maintaining separate residence. She can return one time for personal effects. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. No contact. In the prior, court will not revoke the bond on 24 CF as it's not related or not a similar charge.
Is that probation or bond?
The court will not take any action on 24 CF 3368.
Just for the record, Your Honor, the state would be asking the court to find an on-view violation.
Thank you, counsel. Ross Jones.
No PD application.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Ross Winston Jones, 9584.
It's okay.
Jones.
Sir, you were picked up on.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, sorry.
Sir, you were picked up on child neglect, harm.
Yeah, how?
Probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to the nature of the charge. Bond will be $1,500. I believe DCF has been contacted. I'm gonna say no hostile contact state.
The state would be asking for no contact and abide by any kind of DCF findings if those are in place.
Yeah, it says they were contacted and it does not say if there's another parent or somebody. That's why I was considering it. Defense, any position?
Defense would be requesting the no hostile contact, and then you can also put an order in to abide by any DCF rulings.
Unless you cert by an order from DCF. If DCF makes a determination. I can say that. Well, does that work for you, state?
It's the court's discretion. I understand. I understand the court's position. This is just what the state's asking for. So
I'm gonna say.
He'll be coming home with me tonight.
I am gonna do the no contact. And to abide by any recommendations by DCF. Defendant can file a motion for contact if DCF recommends that it's fine. Thank you.
And Your Honor, the state would also be asking, especially based on the facts of this case, that no alcohol, no drugs,
No alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you. All right, Carlos Lopez.
Next court date on demand. PD approved.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Carlos Lopez, 102185.
Sir, you were picked up on possession of a controlled substance. Sorry. Without a prescription. Bond is $2,500. Actually, it does qualify for PTR. Court's gonna grant the direct PTR. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The condition, sorry, Your Honor.
Conditions, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms.
Thank you.
Miguel Lopez Negron.
He's approved.
Afternoon, sir, state your name and date of birth for the record.
Miguel Lopez Negron, March 1178.
Sir, you're picked up on a petty theft, first offense, court finds probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PCR due to other legal constraints. Bond will be $250, no return to the scene. Thank you.
Next court date on demand.
Michael McMillan.
PD approved.
Your Honor. I apologize.
Sorry. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Michael McCollum, May 6, 1964.
All mixed up. Sir, you're picked up on aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. Court finds probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to the nature of the charge. State.
Your Honor, the state's going to be seeking pretrial detention under 907.041, subsection 5, subsection C.
To add defense.
Has it been filed yet, or is it pending filing?
Pending filing.
Your Honor, we would just ask that you order it be filed within 3 days, and then that the hearing be set within 5 days.
All right, that's fine, counsel. I think that's the only charge. Yes, thank you. Attention.
The next court date on the, because
I
it
should
just
be the
hasn't
next
filed. Because I have it scheduled with Wilson, but I didn't know.
Yes.
Your Honor, would you like to add any conditions?
So on top, the one we just did?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now I'll have the judge do that.
Pending the pretrial detention, state would just be asking no contact with the victim.
Fine, no contact. State. That's why I'm a little distracted.
I was gonna say.
Go ahead, just put it, go ahead.
Next court date, March 18th, 8:15 a.m., courtroom 5F for the pretrial detention.
Anthony Ramesh.
Anthony Ramesh, 0731.
See. Sir, state your name and date of birth for the record.
Anthony Ramesh, 073091.
Sir, you were picked up on aggravated assault on a person 65 years or older. I'm sorry, aggravated assault, battery. On the same. Well, hindering communication with a law enforcement officer. Let's say all of it. Is it 3 or 4? What happened? Court finds probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to the nature of the charges, and he was out on bond. And I'll seal the case. 24MM2911. State.
Your Honor, as to the new charge, the state has filed a pretrial detention motion, so I'd be asking for this case to be set for the 18th.
You said it on the battery, counsel? Or the aggravated assault? You did it on the aggravated assault and the battery?
Yes.
Actually, I think you just did it on the aggravated assault. So counsel, I think this is just on aggravated assault. Do you intend to file a separate one on the battery? Or include or amend?
As it is filed, Judge.
Okay. Court's gonna grant the pretrial detention.
There's. Oh.
All right, court's gonna grant the pretrial detention. As filed on the assault, so the battery, court's gonna set bond on the battery. I don't know if state has not indicated they're gonna seek, file a pretrial detention on the battery, so the bond will be $5,000. And on the hindering communication with law enforcement will be $500. It's gonna be no contact, no return. If the parties reside together, party can return one time to collect personal effects if they reside together. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. As far as case 24MM2911, PTR, do we know if it was the same victim?
I don't believe that case was a domestic case,
Okay.
so I don't believe that's the same victim, Your Honor. I'm not sure though.
What was the bond in the prior case?
The bond,
And the 24MM291.
it was $1,000, Your Honor.
Your Honor, based upon the fact that that was also a battery case, the state would be asking for the court to revoke the bond and remain it at zero.
Court will revoke the bond, but I'm gonna reissue it. I'm gonna revoke the bond, I'm gonna reissue it at $3,000. And 24MM2911. Thank you, sir.
Next court date, March 18th, 8:15 a.m., courtroom 4F.
Israel Rivera. PDF. State your name and date of birth for the record, sir.
Israel Ricky Rivera, birthday 3/31/1983.
Sir, you were picked up on battery, touch, or strike. Court finds probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to the nature of the charge. Bond will be $500. It looks like PTR contact the victim. Victim wants contact in reference to children, does not want defendant to live at the residence. So I'm gonna say maintain separate residence, may have non-hostile contact, may return one time for personal effects with law enforcement.
Your Honor, no hostile contact with the kids or with the victim, or with both.
So it's with the victim. However, if the children are with the victim, it's still the same hostile contact. This doesn't govern necessarily how the court may treat.
Yes, sir. I'm allowed to.
The kids.
So I'm allowed to contact my wife.
You're allowed to have non-hostile contact with her.
Okay.
As long as you maintain separate residences.
Okay,
And that's simply because PTR contacted her and she wants contact.
Okay.
Well, she said she wants contact in reference to the children. So I'm gonna say non-hostile contact to the children.
Okay.
That in criminal court. All right.
Your Honor, is no hostile contact concerning the children? Like you can contact her if it's about the children or just contact with the children?
Yeah, because we all live together.
You're gonna retain,
Yeah,
you're gonna maintain separate residences.
Okay.
I'm gonna say non-hostile contact when contacting the children. Obviously, you're gonna have to go through mom. She says that she wants you to be able to contact the children. And so, at least according to PTR's notes, so I'm gonna say non-hostile contact and that'll apply to both.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Next court date on demand.
Christina Uwanowicz.
PD approved.
Good afternoon, Miss. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Christine Iwanowicz, January 17, 1987.
Miss, you're picked up on battery, touch, or strike, I think, and violating pretrial release conditions. Court finds probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to the nature of the charge. I think the defendant was also on bond, although it doesn't say it, but I think.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And he was out on bond for, I'm so sorry. She was out on bond for the same charges, resisting without violence, violation of the domestic violence injunction, in case number 2025 MM383. So the state would be asking, based upon the nature of those charges And now that there is a violation of those pretrial release charges, the state would be asking for no bond.
And I think it's the same. Yeah. So it's a violation of her conditions for domestic violence. That means it's the same person. All right, so in the battery, the bond will be $500. For the conditions of no contact, no return, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. And PTR, this battery was on the same person in which the injunction is maintained?
Yes, Your Honor.
In 2025 MM 383. Was she out on PTR?
No, she was out on bond, Your Honor.
What was the bond?
One moment, please. She actually has 3 charges in that case, so it was $5,000, $1,000, and $1,500.
And this is the same person that this new charge is on?
Yes, sure.
Okay, the court's gonna revoke the bond in 25 MM 383, no bond. Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you give a bond?
No, I revoked the bond because it's the same person.
No, for the pretrial release condition violation for the count 2 for the case that she is currently here on today.
I gave a bond of $500.
Okay, and count 1 was $500 also?
So state, how do you have this charge here? So it doesn't look like it's a charge, it looks like, at least on my paperwork, you have it as a separate charge. You have battery, touch or strike, and
Yes, Your Honor.
pretrial
That is a first degree misdemeanor.
Is that not, but that is in reference to the pretrial release in the 2025 MM 383?
Correct. It's a new charge. Pretrial release.
Right, okay, so I was, so I will do $500 on that count, so $500 on both for this case, the one at bar council, 25 MM 592, this new case, and I revoke the bond for the prior.
And Your Honor, would you consider increasing the bonds on that and allowing her to be able to bond out on everything?
I have 3 kids I need to get home and take care of.
Obviously, the state would be objecting.
Obviously, I understand, counsel. Let me take a look at again what it was.
Yes.
Based on the allegations, no. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Was involved in that. Jason Steiner Olinger?
PD approved.
No one yet. Just Steiner.
PTR,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
quick question on the case I just did. That was a 2025 case? The prior, what was the date?
Yes, it was, the date that she bonded out, Your Honor?
Yes.
One moment, please. She bonded out on February 24th, 2025.
Okay, so that was a bond. All right. Thank you. Good afternoon. Give me date of birth for the record.
Jason Steiner, 7/30/1979.
Sir, you were picked up on burglary of an occupied structure unarmed, hindering communication with law enforcement, battery, touch, or strike, resisting arrest without violence, and actually violation of a condition of your release, violation of pretrial release, resisting without violence, court finds probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to the nature of the charges and other legal constraints. I believe he was out on bond in 24 MM 2906. Guys can verify that. It doesn't say it, but I believe it.
Yes, it was 24 MM 2906, Your Honor.
All right.
And it was $1,000 bond.
And I want to know if this involves the same people as these new charges.
Yes, it does, Your Honor. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You can look while I read the.
Thank you.
So bond in the first count, burglary is $3,500. Bond in the second count, hindering communication with law enforcement, is $1,000. Bond in the third count, this judge, $1,000. Bond in violation of pretrial release, $500. Resisting without violence is $500. The conditions of no contact with the victims, no return to the scene, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. And 24 MM 2906 PTR.
Your Honor, my coworker is going to go search to see if it is the same victim.
Okay. Do you know how much the bond was?
The bond was $1,000, Your Honor.
State, do we know?
I'm looking at it right now, Your Honor. The victim's name in the original, Kelly Nelson. I believe.
Yep. Same person. You said Kelly Nelson in the one at bar or the 2906?
Your Honor.
MM case.
I'm sorry, my coworker has returned and she advised it is the same victim.
Okay, court's gonna revoke the bail in 24 MM 2906. No bond. Thank you.
Next court date on demand.
Akia Faruya.
New application out of county.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth.
Akia Faruya, March 16th, 1990.
Sir, you're picked up on an out-of-county warrant. The bond is $1,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, would you be adding the conditions of the warrant?
Oh, there's the conditions. I'm sorry. Thank you, PTR at the bottom. Do not return to the scene and no contact with the victim or witness. Curtis Simmons. Counsel, we're almost to you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth for the record.
Curtis Jerome Simmons, 10370.
Sir, you're picked up on 3 different cases, all out-of-county warrants. The bond in the first case that ends in 7440 is $2,000. Bond in the second case that ends in, actually, they're all 74. Something, I guess it's 330. Yeah, something's wrong with this. I'm gonna just read the bond amounts. I'll let you guys figure out what's wrong with it. Bond amounts for the first one is $2,000. And the second out-of-county warrant is $200. Third out-of-county warrant is $500.
Your Honor, if I may, I did find the case numbers. That case number was 20 CF 7440. I believe the next case for an out-of-county warrant is 20 CM 3403.
Right, but all the charges are on one. And it's all listed under one warrant number. They're all listed under the first one, although I see 3 cases and 3 different case numbers on the charging affidavit. It's all listed under one warrant number, so I don't know if that's an error.
I see different warrant numbers, that's why I'm curious.
I mean, they're written on my sheet, but on the actual warrant, it's the same
Okay.
one. But like I said, I'll let you guys. Okay. All right.
Your Honor, there appears to be 3 cases. In one case, there's 3 charges. In the second case is 1 charge, and in the third case is 1 charge.
Okay, so then that's why I don't have any of that. I only have the 1 case with the 3 charges.
Yes, 3 cases with 3 different affidavits.
Average?
This is the second other case. Okay. They're all out of county, and in the case ending in 3403, the bond is $250. And in the case ending in 2051, there's no bond. Thank you, sir.
You left. I'm not going to make a copy. Make a copy things to read that. Thank you. You want this? That's all right.
No, here it is. You can get that back there. If this fell apart, they clipped them as individual cases.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Fine. I
Sorry.
don't create the packets. I just have the orders.
That's okay.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's it. Let's go back to, I have 2 to go back to. Stephen Lewis.
You approve. Yes, 3 cases.
All right, counsel, I know you had a probable cause challenge. I think I'm gonna say it again for the record. Ms. Lewis, go ahead and state your name and date of birth again.
Stephen Lewis, 1981.
You're picked up on violation of domestic violence injunction, 2 counts of that, burglary of unoccupied structure, another case of violation of domestic violence injunction, and burglary of an occupied structure. There are 3 cases. Counsel, go ahead with your argument.
Your Honor, nowhere within the 4 corners of this arrest affidavit does it say where he gets the information about the injunction, what the valid injunction is, and only comes to a conclusory statement that he does have an active injunction and he's not allowed within 500 feet of that resident.
All right, state.
Your Honor, the officer does swear and affirm that there was an active injunction. The officer doesn't have to provide documentation of the actual injunction in order to get probable cause. The officer reviewed. It's no different than possession of a firearm by convicted felon, or if the officer is able to research this person's prior criminal history. If this officer researched and found that there was an active injunction out, and it's within the 4 corners of the affidavit, that's probable cause.
Nowhere in the affidavit does it say he confirmed there was an injunction.
I see the injunction was issued on 3425 and served on 3425 at 10:41 hours. The following notes were located and attached to the injunction in Spillman. Respondent shall have no contact with petitioner Jonathan Alvaro Miranda. Respondent shall not go within 500 feet. Counsel, do you see that?
I do not see that.
Okay. All right. That's the information right there. Court finds probable cause. Defendant does not qualify for PTR due to the nature of the charges, and he was out on bond in 25 mm 305 battery toucher strike. PTR, you could be looking up that information. You already know what I'm going to ask.
Yes, it's the same victim, Your Honor.
Okay. Just gonna go the bond in the first count, $1,000. And that's a violation. Court case ending in 754. And that burglary, that bond is $750. Conditions, no contact, no return. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. That will be the same conditions for all cases. And the second case, it ends in 758.
She only said it on the warrant. What she said for the first violation.
Bond will be $1,000. And and the violation of the domestic injunction and count 2, the bond is $500. Same conditions. In a case ending in 588.
First one.
Is it 758 or 588? Nope, that's a different one. Case ending in, I guess it's 588. 588. Bond is $500. Same conditions. What was the date of the, why am I asking for the date when we're only in March? It's a 2025 case. You said it's the same?
Yes.
No bond. Gonna revoke the bond. Now see only case 25 MM 305. No bond.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next court date's on demand.
All right. We are back to Jorge Nieves Zayas. Say, can I have your phone for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I want you to check this. Like I said before, I'm almost positive. Anytime I see these in IAs, it should be one way or the other, but it's all, at least that's how I believe I learned it in math. But it's always one way on your documents. And I believe this is saying that this is. I can. No, I can't mute because defense needs to be able to hear me. Hold on, let me look at it again, counsel. They should just write words and there wouldn't be any confusion.
Here's how I've always remembered it, is that the alligator will always eat the bigger side. So
no, that's how we all learned it. But it's not eating the bigger side, so it looks like it's saying that it's less than 4 grams. So, and then it doesn't help that there's another on the one person table. It says also less than 4 grams. So there's an error.
but respectfully, it's not, because
I'm just telling you what the document says, counsel.
I know the warrant, the warrant table, you're correct. It looks like it was a clerical error. But the sign, if the smaller side is towards where it says 4 grams, that means greater than.
Okay.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be trafficking.
Right. I'm understanding that, but okay. Where's my sheet? Okay. I will reduce the bond to $75,000. As I made sure I reduced the second one. Bond account 2 was $25,000 and the bond account 3 was $2,500. Conditions: no contact with co-defendants, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms.
Next court date on demand.
Counsel, anything to add before the court adjourns?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, I'm sorry I made you wait. I just don't want to burn.
No, that's fine. I understand. Thank you, Judge.
For your patience.
I didn't have anything this afternoon, so I'm good.
Great. Thank you, sir. Bye. All right, we are adjourned. Is there anybody else? I think that was all right.
No, that's it.
Thank you, BTR.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you, State. Thank you, Defense. Have a great day.
Thank you, Judge.
I don't know how to turn it off.